Okay, in this video, we're going to be talking about parent-child relationships as it relates to parametric modeling, not your home life, and a thing that's known as the BORN technique, which stands for Basic Orphan Reference Node. It's kind of a fancy way of saying it basically works off the Cartesian coordinate system. So basically, what that means, it boils down to, is that your part should be referenced somehow to the origin, to the 0, 0 origin of your X, Y, Z planes. Now, as far as parent-child goes, is when we create a feature in a part, things that happen downstream from that or later on uh, are related to the original things. Like what's below is the child, what's above is the parent. And if you change the parent, it affects the child. And sometimes vice versa. The child is dependent upon the parent. Okay, so we'll demonstrate that as we're going to go through some of these things. Before we start, let's look at a couple of options here. Let's go to our application, our options, and on the Sketch tab, we want to make sure. Let's see, where's it at? Oh, excuse me, not Sketch, Part. Let's look at Part. Okay, no new sketch is turned on. Okay, because when we start a new part, we want to just, you know, decide where we want to create our sketches at. And let's see, where was the other one at? The other one was on the Sketch tab. Look at sketch plane. This one you can, what this one right here will do is when you you start a sketch, it will automatically turn to view that sketch plane. For this exercise, let's turn that off and you can see how that works, okay? And then we'll close that down. So we want to start a new file, and we're going to use our English template, our standard inch part file. And we'll go create. All right. Okay, so here we go. Now let's look over here. Let's expand the origin folder. You can see here you've got your different planes, and they're showing up. Let me hit the home. Give us an ISO view there, and you can see the different planes. Okay, or you can see the axes and the origin or the center point. That's kind of yellow. It's kind of hard to see that. But what we can do is we can turn on and off visibility of these here. I'm going to select all three of those and right click, and I can turn on the visibility of them so that they are on during my part sometimes this is helpful, sometimes it's not. You just kind of have to play with it and see what you get used to. Okay, but sometimes it does come in handy. All right, so we want to start a sketch on the XZ plane right there. All right. And what we want, let me flip that up a little bit. On the rectangle pull down, I want to go slot. I want slot center to center. And then I'm going to come down here and drag this across. But see, I want it to be parallel, excuse me, to that axis. So we're looking for that symbol there. And I'm going to click once and drag out a radius there. Sizes aren't important right now. Okay, so that gave me my slot. What would be a slot? I'm going to use it to create my part. And then I want to put a couple of circles in there. Well, that turns out it didn't constrain that. We'll fix that. All right, let's turn off these. So They're a little confusing. So let's put us a couple of circles, and I want to go concentric, so I'm looking for that green snap. Okay, so I've got those, but now then I need to fix this. So let's do a constraint on that. First of all, we'll project geometry of the x-axis and go with my center line, which is a construction line, and we'll make those parallel. Okay, now we want to apply some dimensions, and I need you to apply these dimensions in the same order in which I am doing them, and we'll show you that why shortly. Okay, but my first dimension is going to be the length of the slot. So I'm going to go from this arc to this arc. So that's dimension number one. And I'm not going to worry about sizing them at this minute. Let's see, dimension number two is going to be diameter of this circle. Dimension number three is going to be radius of the arc. Dimension number four is going to be from arc to origin, right there, my 0 point. Dimension number five is going to be from the axis to the center. And then dimension number six will be this circle down here. Okay, so I've got those created. Now I want to come back in and apply my sizes that I really want. And usually when you start dealing with these kinds of things in Inventor, is you want to apply them largest ones first. So I want to double click that. I want to edit that one. I want to make it 5 inches long. Boom, really big. All right, this one, we're going to do a little trick, and I'm going to choose that dimension divided by 2. And that centered it up on the origin across there. Okay, now the arc out here, oh, I'm going to have to zoom in on that. There we go. Let's see, I want that to be a radius of 1. See how that fixed that up. And we can take this one and make it a diameter of 0.5. And I can take this one and I'm going to say equals that one. Come on. So that makes them equals. And you see it puts a function there because it's got that mathematical function into it. Now this one here, let's drag it to the outside. And we're going to make it 0. Okay. Let's see, Manage tab, update. Let's update that. Okay, on the Manage tab, we want to look at parameters. There we go. And you can see here's the order in which we applied the dimensions. And if there's an equation, remember some of them we put in dimensions, and some of them, like this one here, D3, which is this one right here. We said dimension 0 divided by 2 units. And in here we did an equals D1, which was equal to D5. Okay, so this is how parameters say. You can kind of look at some of these things. And we'll stop here and go to the next video.